In this short demo, I'm going to show you how you can create buffers that only are outside of a polygon. Notice that if I select my buffer here, I don't select that area where the lake actually is. So this is kind of a buffer zone around polygons. Let's start by creating buffers the normal way. From the spatial tab, I can pick buffer table from the buffer dropdown. I pick my input table and I choose to create a new table for the output. Add it to my current mapper. I'm just going to use the table structure of the input table. I'm going to adopt that structure and just say create. I'm just going to call it lake buffers. And I'm going to create buffers of 100 meters with a resolution of 36 around each object in my table using a Cartesian calculation method. Next, I'm going to copy over all the values from my input objects onto the buffer objects. Okay, and now you can see it created the buffers. What you also can see is that they cover the lakes. So if I move my buffers down, you can see that if I select one of those, they actually also cover the lake. Now what we want to do is create one where the input object is not covered by the buffer. Now we're looking to create buffers only on the outside of the polygon, and there's a couple of ways you can do that in MapInfo. I'm gonna show you one of those ways that involves just one process actually. First, let's get rid of the other table we had here. And let's create a copy of our lake table so that we don't mess with the existing objects. Let's change the styling just slightly so you can see how it overlaps. So as you can see, it now overlaps completely with the existing lakes. Now we want to update this table with new objects. We're going to do that using the SQL window. I'm just going to tear it out here so you can better see what I'm doing. From the drop down here, I'm going to use the update statement. The table I want to update is my lake buffer, so you just click on it up here and you see it puts it in here. And what I want to update is my object column. I can just type that, say that should be equal to, and from the functions drop down I can search for Cartesian buffer. So my table is a projected in a projected coordinate system, so I can use Cartesian buffer. If you're using lat long data, you'd use the buffer function as standalone. So you can see it actually brought in some structures here. So it takes a number of parameters. The object, that's my input object as well. Then it takes a resolution, and I'll use the same as I used earlier, 36. And then I'm going to specify 100 meters. So now I'm basically going to update my lakes with the same buffer we just saw earlier using the buffer table method. So I need to do one more thing. I need to now stamp a hole in that buffer. Right. So I need to use an erase function. And I can do that just by typing erase here. So that's another map basic function. And it takes two parameters. It takes that object I want to actually stamp a hole in, and then the object that I want to erase with. And in this case, it's going to be the existing lake I want to use. Also notice that it automatically validates your syntax. So if this is green, you're all good. I want to see the result in a table, so I'm just going to uncheck that and just run the result. And now you can see you got your result here. Let's just close the cyclo window. And you can see that your resulting buffers are now only outside.